Good morning. This is February 2nd, 2023. I sent a letter and a video and an email to Carolyn Clinton and just about everybody in the Sundance HOA last week around Thursday or Wednesday. I pointed out what was wrong with my neighbor's lot with all the weeds. It's been just about a week and nothing's happened. There it is. Brittle brush, weeds. That century plant's ready to die. We got weeds all over the place. The yard's a disgrace, and they're not getting $100 a day fine for that. That's been going on for 3 months. That brittle brush probably started on the day that they assigned the first $100 day to me. On October 1st was when that brittle brush probably started growing. Now when it seeds out, it's going to blow seeds all over everybody's neighborhood. It's even going to get worse. And I thought if I illuminated that to anybody on the board and anybody AAM or the HOA, that this would be taken care of. It's a disgrace. But it's not seen from the golf course. You see that ridge up there? You see that ridge? That crest out there? Nobody can see this from the golf course. I want to tell you what I saw yesterday. That's my patio door. I came to the patio door yesterday around 11 o'clock in the morning, noon, and right where that cactus is on my property line was a golfer standing there gawking in these yards. He had hit a ball up here. He come up here, got his ball. He was probably 70s, I would say he was 60s, 70s, gray hair. Just looking in the yards, checking it out. Put his ball right on the property line. Now, that's kind of familiar. I want anybody to understand that if you buy a house on a golf course, anywhere, that your civil rights, and that's the tee box area right there. If you can see, the senior tees are back center almost to the cart path, and then the gold tees are about, can't be more than 10 or 15 yards back. Now the senior tees to the ladies' tees is about a 40 yard, 45 yard difference, but the difference between the senior tees and the gold tees back there is about 10 or 15 yards difference. And they've got the pin, I've described it, they got the pin back today. So instead of being from that green box right there, it's probably about 150 yard flight or more to the pin. 150 to 160 yards from there. And then from the gold, it's only like 10 yards more. How many seniors do you think have the game in their bag where they can step up and keep a shot within this corridor? Now what I'm talking about is the corridor. Are there any underwriters out there? Anybody see that movie with Jack Nicholson where his wife died of an aneurysm, and he did a lot of narration during the movie, and he narrated that I'm an underwriter, that I can predict accidents happening almost to the second, that this is what I do for a living. I underwrite. I look at situations with statistical analysis, and I predict how much of an event's going to happen from a location, say a restaurant. I don't think any underwriter would allow anybody to put an outdoor restaurant along these hedges or this property line anywhere. Say we want to put a little cafe out there. We want to raise it up just like Mr. Lasham raised it up there. We want to have it perched over the golf course. We want to have tables and waiters and cameras and a control center, like where you can bring in somebody like you, Trevor Immelman. You'd have a little booth up here where he could narrate all the shots. What I'm trying to get across to you is, as a buyer, your civil rights here, you don't have any. I don't have any civil rights here. I have to, this is my home right here. I've invested in it. I own it outright. It's mine. I was here early, so I got one of the bigger lots. Me sitting on this property line is no different than some of those houses right there where the property line goes up to the patio. Some of those houses right down there, say 100 yards down, 125 yards down, these people sit right on their property line with the golf course like I am. The situation that the golf course doesn't like, and the reason I'm getting a $100 a day fine, right now I think I'm up to about $75,000 or $8,000 lien against this house, because I choose to sit on my property line. And I'm trying to get across to, back to the original theme, your civil rights if you buy on a golf course is every errant shot off those far tees. Now that far tee today from me probably is about 60 to 75 yards, 60 yards, and I'm just offline. Anybody with a weak grip, an open face, a fart, senior fart in the downswing, and they hit it at impact with an open face, I'm it. They're trying to hit it 175 yards, and I'm no more than 75 yards away, and I'm in line, I'm in range and downrange. Okay? That tee, every time you move it back, you bring me more and more and more in range to errant shots. Now, what I call this is indirect assault, assault by proxy. We're supposed to have golf professionals out here. And what I mean by golf professionals, not people like Phil Mickelson who are winning tournaments. I'm talking about PGA golf professionals. People who are supposed to know their golf course, what takes place on their golf course, what happens on their golf course. Now, I'm dealing with probably people in the clubhouse or the pro shop that are half my age. I'm a dinosaur, okay, to them. But I've been playing golf since I was 15, okay? One of the hardest things I ever tried to do in my life was make contact for the first time with a golf ball. And I see it every day here. There's no policing here at all. When they put that tee box there, and in the CC&Rs and all the rules and any conversation you have with a golf professional here, their first response is, you bought a house on a golf course. You're the reason you have a broken window. You're the reason you have trespass. You're the reason that balls are landing in your yard all day is because you bought a house on a golf course. Now, this golf professional gets calls on windy days, and just about every day they get calls in the office. My window got broke. My window got broke. My window got broke. My window got broke. And they tell everybody the same response. You bought a house on a golf course. It's your fault you had a broken window. If you hadn't bought a house on a golf course, you wouldn't have a broken window. Now, I come from the airline industry, aircraft industry. I worked for 4 airlines. The first airline I worked for was the United States Marine Corps. I worked on F4. I was a fire control technician on the OG-10 radar. I was very good at it. I had intensive training. They were going to give me 15 years or $15,000 to re-up for 6 years. I walked away from it. Okay, that was the first airline I worked with. Okay, the second airline was this little commuter in upstate New York that just had brought in Beech 1900. The third airline was World Airlines, then United Airlines, and at last America West, which became US Air. So actually I worked for 6 airlines. So I'm used to technical things, I'm used to responsibility, but in every one of those airlines, especially United and US Air, when they came into America West, they had safety programs. Every time there was an accident report. And every time you had an accident, you didn't leave the job, no matter how it could be at the end of your shift, you're completely wore out and you had an accident, or you witnessed an accident. You're not leaving. You're not leaving until you write a report. And part of that report is a question: what would you do different to stop this accident from happening again? Okay? I'm used to that culture. That whenever you have an accident, it's reported, it's looked into, it's investigated, and they look to how can we prevent the accident from happening again. That's the culture that I bring to the situation I'm in. I bought a home here on a golf course, and I'm reporting. I've sent videos to the management, I sent videos to the HOA, I put videos on YouTube. There are some people who subscribe. I don't know who the subscribers are or why they're just subscribing. But part of my theme in most of my videos is this is proxy assault. This is interdiction and harassment fire in Vietnam. This corner where you see that cactus and your white stake, that white stake is golf course. They have all this bailout area up here all the way down. Now if you look way down and there's a lone cactus, those people sit right on the property line of the golf course, just like I'm doing here. But people are so jealous of what I've done, and they won't recognize that I do have a civil right to be protected from golf ball incursion and people incursion day in and day out. This guy yesterday was standing right here, gawking at my patio, just standing there, looking at it, picked up his ball, turned around, enjoyed the view of the lake from up here. And the reason those 2 tee boxes are so close in distance is we'll let the men's tee worry about hitting it over the lake. Okay, anybody that wants to play the men's or the goals today will have a definite lake shot. But the old timers, the seniors, the other people, they want that long shot today. Even though there's going to be probably half the people here are going to come up short today. Half the people are going to hit 2 or 3 golf balls. And whenever a golf ball gets hit from there, that tee box sometimes is right on the corner, right over the top of that left cactus, right there. So all they have to do is step out. What's that do for me? What's that do for me? Anybody heard of the bell-shaped curve? Anybody go to college? Takes the statistics, and they know what the bell-shaped curve is. You just moved the center of that bell-shaped curve for the corridor of error. The corridor of mediocre golfers putting one in my yard. And the reason this is built here, I did this as a defensive move to keep golfers out of my yard. The first thing that happens is a ball rolls up onto this yard where that lighthouse is, or onto my patio, and the first thing that happens, that golfer makes a beeline up here and crosses my lot. I've come out of the lady that lives here got so used to seeing golfers in her yard every day, you know, what are you going to do? And the thing of it is, they've expanded, made this golf course user-friendly. I think it's ridiculous. Narrow the course, Put your white stakes down there about 10 feet from the cart path where they belong. Give the rest of us some privacy over here. Take those tee boxes, put them on the other side of the lake where they belong, and restore the catch basin and restore Tract A as an emergency cart path, pedestrian path. Bring it back to the original plans of this community. It still doesn't match the original plans of the community. It's out of compliance with the master document for the community. Okay? Now, that was my presentation. Now I'm going to put the camera on the tripod and I'm going to keep it focused on the senior tee today. And like every day, out of maybe 30 or 40 groups that hit that tee, there's going to be one group in dungarees, t-shirts, or muscle shirts with nothing on the shoulders, straps for shoulders, and leotards from the gym with a hat on backwards, swinging wildly at a ball because they're an athlete. And they figured that they take golf for granted. That where's the men's tee? Oh, it's back there today, about 170 yard shot to the pin, 175 yard shot. Really? Good, I'll go back there, I'm a man, right? Don't know a thing about the game. Don't know how to grip the club, don't know a weak grip from a strong grip, an inside swing from an outside swing, covering the ball or hitting it open face, trying to lift the ball off the tee instead of hitting down on the ball. They haven't got a clue. All they know is, I'm young, I'm strong, I'll be able to do this. And they get up there and they crush a fade. I mean, they hit it. They crushed it. But they did it from right there. And it's fading. It's leaking hard. Here I am, walking point. Another thing I want to tell you is, no matter where the ball is hit along this property line, these houses get hit all the time. I pointed that solar panel up there. I had to repair that, and it's damaged. It's an $800 replacement. I never replaced it. Okay, the people bought it without it. But all along this line, day in and day out, get bombarded with golf balls. Okay, in their yard. Now, I thought I was buying a home. But on a busy Saturday or Sunday, you don't dare sit out here. If the kids come and visit or anybody comes and visits, the first thing I have to do is give them a tutorial on what can be expected from that tee box. Now, for you in your documents, in your CC&Rs, and all your scorecard and everything saying it, you know, like, and the scorecard doesn't have anything on it where people are responsible. The old scorecard, before they sold it to a private outfit, had on it people were responsible for damage. Any damage a golfer did, he was responsible for it. On the scorecard that came out after the private takeover, there was nothing on it about golf ball damage. They're off the hook. A person can drive out here. If you want to start somebody playing golf, you can jump in the car and drive an extra half an hour to get here. And sometimes in the slow periods, $25, $35 cart, afternoon of golf. And you can bring somebody out for that price, where if you go to Estrella or Verado or something, it's a $100 bill. You can bring them here and let them go. And if it's slow, especially that tee, if it's slow and nobody's pushing them, they turn that tee box into a driving range. This guy is giving a lesson to a newbie, a starter, from back there. He isn't starting them there with a pitching wedge and a sand wedge or an 8-iron in his hand, teaching them to hit easy, teaching them small ball. No, the first place he comes with them is that, and then he might even take him to the back tees. The guy's young, he's strong, He's 210 pounds. He's a gorilla. He ain't got an ounce of fat on him. Let's see what he can do from back at 177. Let's give him a chance from 177. And the guy hits a mortar shot. And we're having a party here. We're having a party here. Or my solar panels, the guy crushes one, absolutely crushes one. Beginner's luck, he hit one. But he had an open face or a weak grip. He threw his hip out open. He's early, like a baseball player. When he threw his hip early, led with his hip, opened everything up, and he crushed one, hit it right on the screws. And it took out my solar panel. When I call up the clubhouse, they go, you bought a house on the golf course. And the thing of it is, that guy did that on the third ball. The first ball, he ducked hooked into the lake. The second ball dribbled off the tee. Finally, the guy said, settle down, concentrate, do it, concentrate on the ball. So the guy did. And on the third ball, that's when he broke the solar panel. He crushed it. As far as I'm concerned, this is proxy assault. And get used to it. If you buy a house on a golf course, that's what you deal with. When you call them up and say, one of your golfers, your paid golfers that you have a contract with, just put a ball in my yard, broke a window. And to have a young whippersnapper that's half my age or even less, I got more time playing golf than he's been on the earth, all right, tell me that you bought a house on a golf course. So cavalier. So cavalier, that's the get out of jail card. We don't have to fix that tee. We know day in and day out you're getting hit. We get calls all day long. If it's not you, it's the other neighbors on your line. You're getting hit all day, but we're not moving those tees. We're not doing an investigation. We're not trying to get rid of these accidents. As far as we're concerned, you paid to be a shortstop, a penalty box, a landing and recovery area for missile launchers. And you don't police anybody. But now I'm going to stop, put the camera in and focus in. But what you're watching right now, I'm hoping this camera's straight. You're watching four guys tee off. I have a video, it's on YouTube, where a guy teed off right from there on his, like they all hit a couple of balls. Out of four guys, 7 balls I think were hit. And one of them dribbled up right over this property line before I had my my bunker. And the camera was on him. He came up that hill and he stopped and then he was looking in all the yards, and when he spotted the ball, it was right about probably where the lighthouse was. He came across the yard, got it, and went back on the course. I deal with this day in and day out. Day in and day out. And another thing I was saying, anybody that hits a ball way down there, say a guy hits one from the tee box where they are there, and he sees it go in way down by the tree or that far cactus, he sees it hit and roll up into one of those houses. You know where he starts searching? When he gets around the corner and he gets right here, he comes up to my lot. He comes up to where that white post is and walks this whole property line looking in my yard for golf balls. And if he finds one, he doesn't have a problem stepping over. And when I report it to the golf course, they don't have a problem. When I report it to the police, I have to go on camera. The policeman has to come out. I tell him the cart number, 2 guys, one had a white shirt, one had a red shirt, they're in cart number, yada, yada, yada. Go to the clubhouse, you'll catch them. They just trespassed on my yard. Instead of doing that, he comes to me and puts me on camera. And when I tell him, most of the policemen, when I say, do you recognize the penalty I'm playing here? Do you realize how vulnerable I am to errant shots, to mediocre shots? You know how vulnerable I am to beginners? And what I was saying about the pros, our pros here aren't pros that play the tour. You guys are pros at running golf concessions. What you're doing here isn't goodwill. Like I said, this is assault by proxy. You put that missile launcher pad, you put that missile launching pad or that artillery piece right there. That tee box is an artillery piece. Okay, and about every 20th golfer that goes through, and at least once a year, count on it, at least once a year, plan on buying a solar panel or a window. That's it. And get used to when you get up in the morning having people standing on your patio, turning over your furniture, looking for their golf ball because they've been doing it for 15 years. Before this house was built here, 19 years ago, and the course has been open for over 20, they used to just walk up here. They hit an errant shot up anywhere up here. They drove their golf cart up. That culture still exist. Like I said, what's prompting all these videos is that I am right now at up to about $7,500 or $8,000 in fine penalties against my house because I didn't say may I. Okay? I took it upon myself, my initiative, to protect my property from trespass. I also have a right, like my neighbors down there, to put their chairs and their furniture right on their property line. That's what I'm doing. And the women and the people that come up and play are shocked that I took advantage of this. But it has stopped people from walking over that corner. They can't. And these bushes. And I've said before, this is my my platoon of Marines, all right, that are trying to keep trespassers from breaking our ranks, okay? These are the Marines that protect this earth that I bought. And get used to the idea that they can put a lien against your house anytime they want. Anytime they want. I haven't received since I got that $100 a day notice where I'm up to about $8,000 now lien against the house. I haven't received in the mail one description of what I did or a picture. They send me a letter and they say, look at this code. Go to this website and look at the code. Well, I'm kicked out of the day they kicked me out of the adult facility. They canceled my key card. I never went on the website after that. I don't use their website. I've sent them repeated letters, both an email and registered letters, to please, from now on, everything is done with paper. I don't go on your website, and take me off your mailing list. I haven't received anything from the Sundance Active Adult community in the email for about 3 years, 3.5 years. The day they kicked me out of the HOA, I said, don't send me any more notices. I don't want to hear anything from you. From now on, send me registered letters at the correct address. And I even made an address change when I sold the house. It didn't do any good. It didn't do any good. They're still sending letters to the wrong address. Okay? They won't recognize the fact that I live there. And nobody will recognize that I have civil rights to be able to live in this house without having to worry about getting bombarded. Try to imagine just beyond where those 4 people are at the end of the long tee. For today, that's going to be about a 200-yard shot to the pin. They got to hit it, to have it land 10 foot short of the pin, they got to hit it about 190 yards. Okay? That's a high demand shot with a lot of risk, especially for somebody that doesn't know how to play golf. Their golf friends pull them out, or maybe the guy's a subordinate to the guy they brought out here. and he has a golf game and the guy doesn't. And the more distance he can put between him and the other guy in the game of golf, the more he enjoys it. So he takes some newbie back to the back tee, way back there, so he can embarrass him. If you're taking somebody new to play golf for the first time, take them to the executive tees. Let them learn how to hit the ball at a slow pace, at a short distance. All right, you're taking a brand new person back to 177 yards to the center with a back pin and putting a monster club with a hot ball in his hand. I mean hot ball. One with small diameter. One that turns easy. One that's very dense. What they call a distance ball. Small diameter. You can spin it in a heartbeat. And he hits that ball, that distance ball, with an open face, with a little bit of loft. And the wind's coming right from that hotel down there. You see that hotel and that electrical tower? It's coming right out of there. What do you think happens here? You see that solar panel up there? There was a bruise on that solar panel that was the size of a softball. And I think this guy's hitting more than one ball. See what I'm telling? These guys when it's slow, this place turns into a driving range. I have to pay the price for these people to learn how to play golf. You bring somebody out here new, instead of taking them to the driving range first, nah, we won't do that. He'll pick it up. By the time we get to the 9th hole, he'll figure it out. I've been in groups like that. We don't have time to go to the driving range. Come on, we got to get out and get this round going. And everything. This guy's hitting while this guy's driving. See it all the time. People down range, they don't care. We hit. That's my spiel for this morning.